So, Brandon,
Yeah.
you're one of my good friends, and I've talked to you about a lot of things, but
Yep.
not too much about spiritual things.
That's true. Yeah.
Why don't we go for a walk and talk about it?
Let's do it, Ryan.
So, Brandon.
Yeah.
What does Jesus mean to you?
Well, to me, Jesus is like a best friend that I can come to, like, no matter what my problems are, you know? And he just makes me feel, like, safe and stuff.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah. What about you?
You know, I just feel so comforted by him. He's like a rock. I can always just come to Jesus for anything, you know? It's just nice.
That's such a good picture of Jesus.
So Ryan, have you had any personal experiences with God?
Actually, yes. When I was a little boy, I used to get really scared at night, and I'd always have nightmares. And one day, my mom bought me this like little action figure of Jesus, and it came with like a basket and fish. It was really awesome, and I slept with it every night. And then I felt so comforted, like that Jesus was with me. So
Wow.
nice.
That's really cool.
Yeah. What about you?
Well, see, when I moved to Florida, I was really lonely and sad because I missed all my friends and family. But then I just prayed to God, and He just made me feel not so lonely anymore because I knew that everywhere that I went, He would be with me.
It's so sweet.
Thanks, Ryan.
So, Brandon, what religion are you?
Oh, I'm a Seventh-day Adventist, Ryan.
Why?
Well, I was born that, or raised that way, and, you know, just from, like, looking at the Bible and stuff, and what people teach me, I believe that that's the right way to live.
Yeah.
Yeah, what about you?
Well, I'm basically just a Christian. I was born into a Seventh-day Adventist home, but then we kind of just became Christians, so I'm not too conservative and stuff. But
Yeah, I get you. So, Ryan, do you have any, like, things that you've been praying about?
Well, senior year is pretty stressful. You know, going to get ready for college and stuff, so I've been
Yeah.
praying about that. But that's about it. And what about you?
You know, I've been praying about the same things, you know? It's, like, so stressful, like, becoming an adult and stuff. Yeah, I'm praying about the same things.
Yeah, it's hard, man.
Yeah.
So, what are some religious questions you've been asked in the past or have talked about?
Well, you know, I've always wondered if God is real and stuff, but I've come to the conclusion that He is because, you know, I just see some things that are unexplainable, and I think it's God. And another thing that I wonder about is why we go to church on Saturdays instead of Sunday.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, well, I mean, the Bible says to go on the seventh day, which is Saturday, so I think that's the right thing to do. What about you, Ryan?
Well, I've talked about if there's a hell or if people just disappear. And I came to the conclusion that people just disappear. Like, why would God want us to burn in hell? I mean, even though it kind of talks about in the Bible, I don't think that's right. And also, what makes a Christian a Christian?
That's a good question.
Like, a lot of Christians are just hypocrites and they do the same thing, but I think to be a Christian, you really just have to love people and love God and do what's in your heart, you know?
That's really good, Ryan. So, Ryan, do you have any questions that you want to be answered at REA?
Yeah, definitely. Actually, why did God create Lucifer if he knew he was just gonna become evil? And
That's really good. That's a good question.
yeah, like I don't understand that. And another is like, how do you take stuff away from church and not always be so bored? Because I just find myself always falling asleep when I go to church. And the last one would have to be, how do I get out of my comfort zone to be better for Christ? You know, like you see all those people
Yeah.
that are like, oh God, and like
Yeah,
I'm
you know,
just
that's
like
pretty
sitting
hard.
over here, like hey.
Yeah.
So what do you think, or what are your questions?
You know, I've always wondered like how people get like that spiritual high. They get all like crazy for God and stuff. But you know, I never,
Keep going, Brandon. Keep going.
I never really get that. You know, so I want to know like how people do it. And another question I have is, you know, um,
What's that question? I can just feel it on the tip of your tongue. We're just thinking. He's thinking.
you know. Well, one question I had was like, how come like we are a Christian school, but we like sometimes we don't act like it, you know? Like sometimes we'll be mean to each other and mean to other people, you know?
Yeah, I get that.
And another question is, you know, I go to church sometimes, and people there are also kind of mean. So,
Yeah,
you know,
like hypocrites and stuff.
yeah,
You know?
yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Those are some good questions
Yeah.
to be answered here
Yeah.
at Redlands Adventist
At
Academy.
RAA.
So, Brandon, what are some questions or concerns for the ASB that we can do here at RAA spiritually or just in general?
You know, I think that spiritually, our school should have like help for people who don't really get God. You know, like new people that are just learning about Jesus.
Definitely.
And in general, I think, you know, there's one thing that I've had a concern about, and that's there's no air conditioning in the gym, and I think there should be, because sometimes I'll be balling, but then I'll get really
Like
hot.
you'll be sweating.
Yeah, I get really hot.
Yeah.
So there should be air conditioning.
Yeah, definitely.
What about you, Ryan?
Well, spiritually, I think we should go out more and do more like community service type
Oh,
things,
that's a good one.
like with God in it and
Mhm.
stuff, you know. And generally, I think we should have tackle football definitely, because
Yeah.
it's just fun. And you know, there's always more things with dress code, but
We'll get into that later.
it's been really, really nice talking to you about all this good stuff, but
Yeah.
I gotta go, so I'll see you.
Alright, see you.